What does God want for my life? If you are like me, that's a question that I have asked myself 1,000 times in the past. What is it that God wants for my life? If there's a situation, if there is a job that I might be open or available for, or moving to a different city, how is it that we know that this is what God wants us to do? How do we understand God's will for different situations in our life? It's a question that I've asked a billion times, and I'm not 100% sure that I've got all the right answers for it yet in this life. But here's something that I have really come to the conclusion of. We overcomplicate this. We overcomplicate it. Like, bad, to the point where we get so fixated on what is it that God wants us to do that we lose focus on what is the most important thing. I'm reminded of passages like Psalm 37 that says, "Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." See, that passage is saying, delight yourself in me, and I will give you the things that you ask. I will give you the things that you ask. So if we're spending time with Him, like appropriately, if we're falling in love with Him passionately, then God really wants to hear the things that excite us the most, the things that are the biggest desires of our heart. I was a youth pastor several years ago, and I would give this analogy a lot when it came to asking that question, how do we know what is God's plan for our life? And I used this example of a blank canvas. If you can imagine just sitting looking at a blank white canvas, it looks like nothing at first. But when that artist begins to take that paintbrush and put that paintbrush to color, and put that color and that brush to the canvas, they begin to paint something, and it may not look like something at first, but by the time that they're done, if they're a good artist, it begins to look like something beautiful. And I think that that's what God is asking of us, is that we don't have to have everything figured out all the time. We don't have to know exactly what to do. But when we delight in His presence, when we delight in spending time with Him, when we find our joy immersing ourselves with Him, I think God is really saying, I am so in love with you. Here's what I want to know right now. What do you want to paint? What do you want to put on this canvas? So if you're looking for a new job, or if you're wondering whether you're supposed to go into a new city, or you're looking for a new ministry, or whatever the case may be, when we put ourselves in the presence of delighting ourselves with God, I think God looks back at us and He says, man, I want to see what beautiful thing you can paint. What is that beautiful canvas that you can paint for me right now? Because I'm so excited to see it. That's what I think God is looking for. So here's what I think we need to do. It's real simple. Spend time with God. Delight in His presence. Just as we read in Psalm 37, delight ourselves in the presence of the Lord. And when we do that, genuinely spend time delighting in His presence, God wants to hear the desires of our heart. He wants to know, what is that thing that you want to paint on that canvas? What is it you're going to do? I don't care what you do, but whatever you paint it for me, paint it for my glory, paint it for my honor, no matter what. And I promise you, you will never go wrong.